Today, the world has gone sex crazy. Illicit sex has become the downfall of many in the Bible. Movie stars, not married to each other, having babies and making headlines all over the world as though they were doing some great thing. Big deal, just another moral pervert. You know, you almost got to be a homosexual to be recognized in the entertainment industry anymore. Ellen, all the rest. I love them, pray for their souls, but they're immoral.
Oh, Randy, my queen, inspect me. Ooh. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to be appropriately depressed. We've lost a great leader and all that. Jerry Falwell has died at 73. Moment of silence. And then giggle uncontrollably. You know, I'm not glad that anybody's dead, but I must say that it is a relief to me to know that he will not be around to blame gay people for everything anymore. It's just amazing to me. I was just, looking at all this stuff this man did. First of all, he was a segregationist. He was strongly for segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. He hated Martin Luther King, said he was not sincere. See, Jerry Falwell was sincere. Martin Luther King, not sincere. Probably gay. He really was, and he was in love with Lester Maddox, who was an old segregationist politician, and George Wallace, an old segregationist politician. He called the civil rights movement the civil wrongs movement. He played on people's hatred and fear, much like, the President of the United States, perhaps? Could be. Could very well be. He supported apartheid like, the Vice President of the United States? Yes, exactly. He supported apartheid in South Africa. He loved Botha. He loved him. He actually urged his churched people, he urged them to buy Krugerrands to support apartheid. Desmond Tutu, also a reverend, hate to put them in the same sentence, even the same thought, won the Nobel Peace Prize. Does everybody remember? He won the Nobel Peace Prize. Jerry Falwell said Tutu, was a phony. Oh, yeah, everybody that used their lives for good and decent and what was moral and what is moral and what will always be moral was a phony, was a insincere person. It's an amazing life he had. Teletubbies, gay. Katrina, gays did it. Hurricane Andrew, because of the gays. 9/11, gay people. Gay people. Larry Flint, not gay. Perverted. Sued Larry Flint, and Larry Flint said, too bad for you. I'm a scrappy little boy from the Appalachian Mountains of Kentucky. Let's do it. Let's do this thing. Let's dance, Jerry. And went all the way to the Supreme Court. Of course, Jerry Falwell lost. Jerry Falwell lost. Your homework tonight is for everybody to watch The People versus Larry Flint. Great movie, amazing American story about the nature of the fundamentalist versus the nature of a porn king, and how the porn king ended up protecting my right to free speech, and the evangelist ended up making money off of what is pornographic, and that is taking the poorest of Americans. He used to go into people's houses and look over their financials. He'd say, he would tell people, you're living wrong, you're in debt, and I will get you out of debt. And he would go and he would look and he would say things like, well, here's your problem. He would tell people to make a list of all the debts. And it was worse than pray about it. It was worse than that. He would tell people to make a list of all their debts, and then he would go to their home, and when he would look at their list, if the first thing on their list was not tithing, that was the problem.
Let me say a word to you who are struggling with debt right now. A bad attitude about money got you in debt. Whenever I'm counseling a couple who's having financial difficulties, I'll say, give me your budget now. What's your income? How much you're spending? Where are you putting it? And if I don't see tithes and offerings at the top, oh, so there's your problem right there. You're robbing from God. Oh, we can't afford right now, Pastor. No, you can't afford not to. If you did a miracle, you better put the miracle working God in your budget. I've never led people into that they can come back a few months later and say, I don't know how it works, but it does. I don't know how in the world. Well, I give more to God, have less to keep. I wind up with more. That's spiritual mathematics.
Spiritual mathematics. You must give to me if you want to be free. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. Do you remember the PTL Club? Does everybody remember Jim and Tammy Faye? Let me tell you what I'm really grateful for today. Seriously, I mean this. I'm so grateful that Tammy Faye, who has cancer, and it's not getting better, I hope it does, but I am so glad that she outlived Jerry Falwell. Do you know what Jerry Falwell did to Jim Baker, her husband, besides calling him gay? He did call him a homosexual. He actually covered up Jim Baker's sexual exploits with the beautiful Jessica Hahn so that he could steal the PTL Club from Jimmy and Tammy Faye Baker, who Falwell then, he took PTL, he took Heritage USA, he then turned around, exposed Jim Baker and the beautiful Jessica Hahn, and then took the whole thing into bankruptcy, made money off of it, turned around and said, by the way, Jimmy Baker, gay. He's just a homosexual. Who cares if I stole from... Do you know, it's unbelievable. And then he went through... Because he was so political, and because he was renting summer places, and because he was charging for rides at Heritage USA and for the water slide and all that kind, the United States Internal Revenue Service revoked that his church's tax exemption. And that's when he files Chapter 11. This man, it's just, what a life he had. Who in your life do you know that hates Martin Luther King? How could you hate Martin Luther King? I don't understand it. He also, not only did he support apartheid, not only did he call the civil rights movement the civil wrongs movement, not only did he preach segregationist politics, but of course he was, the purveyor. I don't know how to, he was this, you talk about Larry Flint is a smut peddler. Do you remember the Clinton Chronicles? Do you remember that piece of smut? That piece of smut was a movie that he sold. That was the movie that said that Bill Clinton killed Vince Foster, that Vince Foster, Ron Brown, and Jim McDougal were all coke dealers. That's where this story comes from, that Bill Clinton was a murderer and a coke dealer. Comes right from Jerry Falwell. Jerry Falwell paid 2 Arkansas state troopers to make allegations supporting the conspiracy to kill Vince Foster, Roger Perry and Larry Patterson. And they were also paid by that same organization to lie about Paula Jones being at the Excelsior Hotel on a day when Bill Clinton could not have been at the Excelsior Hotel, causing that whole civil suit to unfold. And then, of course, President Bill Clinton was forced to do a deposition. And the rest you know as history. But let's not look backward. Oh, no. Let's look to March 2005, shall we? Patterson, this Arkansas state trooper that was paid by Jerry Falwell, was finally convicted of lying to the FBI on an unrelated charge. Apparently, he was more moral than me, see.